and I'm an older human in the mind, so welcome. I am Judy Fuhrer. I think I know everyone here today, so it's awesome, and I welcome you all with a big hug. We are going to be doing some yoga that connects us to the Kabbalah, which is all of our Jewish teachings, and it's just how we receive it and connect. And yoga is so similar to our philosophy that think about what you do when you're moving, breathe when you're moving, be aware. So that's what we're doing during this month of Elul going into Tishrei in our Jewish mind. We're becoming aware. The month of Elul starts with Ani, Ledodi, Vadodi, Li. That is the acronym meaning I am my beloved and my beloved is mine. That beloved can be you. So everyone start by just pressing on your heart a little bit. You can sit down. You can just start opening up that chakra that gives us that feeling of being alive and connected, and just little tapping where the lungs are and the heart come together and showing where we have compassion. And compassion, when we do our yoga today, we want to feel like we're connecting with a very good friend. So try not to be so judgmental or harsh to yourself. Just how you would say, take it easy to a friend, say that to yourself. In fact, the letter, and you can take your tapping down, take it to the sides where the bottom of the ribs are, and just realize the lungs come all the way down to the back of the ribs and the front of the ribs. And if you're not comfortable sitting on the floor, you can sit in a chair so everyone can feel that. And then we want to find where our sternum is. Our sternum, and I have all of my yoga medical things here to show you. Your sternum is your protector bone right here. Soft cartilage coming together with the rib basket, protecting your heart and your lungs. And then the other part of our body that I want you to think about is your sacral plate. They're kind of like a mirror image. Sacral plate is that triangle on the lower back. So when you breathe or when you sit, you want to try to center the sternum and also center the sacrum. And then I'm going to ask everyone to take a moment and smile. And let your mouth go. Because when we start pursing our lips or putting our jaw out of disjoint, we're also doing it to the lower body. And that's really important to understand. The hinge movement of the jaw is just like down here, and that can really cause a lot of pain throughout the body if you're not trying to find the light within yourself. And the light, and I have a candle burning here, the light for Jewish thought is always something with goodness. So if you're able to, go ahead and put your right leg in front and cross at the shins. Then if you can sit on a blanket or a towel, it's much more comforting to the body. It gives you a chance to lift your pelvis a little bit. It softens the ankles and the knees. And it's just a nicer way to sit. Then you want to pull the flesh out from behind your gluteals, so you get a little bit more connection to the bone of your ischium, your sit bones, and sideways too. And then when you're doing that, you can kind of rock your body a little bit, and that always feels good. And it gets your body moving, gets the bones moving. Great. And lift your shoulders and roll back. So I was saying that Elul, we're coming towards the end of this month. We're actually on the 26th day of Elul. And 26 is one of those beautiful, mysterious numbers that we have in Judaism. It is the meaning of Yud He Vav He, which is our first way that Adonai, or God, is introduced to us. And if you add, and this is really Kabbalah, understand it in the mysticism. If you add 2 and 6, you get the figure 8, which is never ending. So I invite us all now to just make little circles in our pelvis. Open your jaw. You can open and close your eyes, and then go the other way. And by the way, Suzanne, you're going to like this. There are 26 bones in our feet. So there really is a symbolic connection to our spirituality. And let's make figure 8s go one way, then go the other way. And whatever figure 8 means to you. It's so silly sometimes and makes you feel so happy to just move. And now let's just do a moment and lift up. So we're going to take our fingers and put them, they can either be on your towel or your blanket or on the floor. Roll your shoulders back and take that sternum area and lift it up. And that will help you to lengthen your spine. Now what I'm going to show you, you guys stay the way you are. I'm turning sideways because this is what we all do. When we go to straighten, we kind of overarch the lower back. So I'm just saying, be aware of that sacrum. It's your supporting part of your spine, and you just want to let it stay there as a stabilizer. The arching comes, and this is very cool, from our 18 movable vertebrae. Those are the 12 thoracic vertebrae. There are 7 vertebrae in the neck, but only 6 of them are easily moved. So 12 and 6 is 18. So we bring our sacrum back a little bit to support us. The feet relax. You're on the edges. You're opening your collarbones and the sternum's up. The shoulder blades, your scapula, are coming in like platters, lifting your lungs, and we're all women here today, on our breasts. And then you try to stay lengthened in your spine as you bring your face forward, and you can use your hands to hold on to the knees or the shins to help you stay upright. Take a breath. Be aware of this breath of life. Breathe in your nose if you have that availability. Breathe in. And breathing out your mouth just to fill out and breathe. Soften your eyes if you can so they are able to water. And release. Great. I'm going to turn back center to be with you guys. This is the time of the year where we're always talking about Teshuvah. Teshuvah is a Hebrew word. We use it like everyone knows what it means. Go ahead right now and we're going to do a Teshuvah. It's a turning. Take your left hand to your right knee. Take your right arm behind you, roll your shoulder back, and you're kind of twisting from your waist where the movable. Bend that left elbow and twisting. A turning. Teshuvah is really a deep idea of turning back into your mind, your heart, your soul, and figuring out where is your light, where is your goodness. Gently releasing this twist. Just come center for a moment to receive how that felt. Release your shoulders. Take a moment to smile. And now take your right arm across. Roll your left shoulder back. Keep your sacrum centered if possible as you bring the sternum and the rib cage to the left side. Roll your shoulder, roll the back shoulder, and we're twisting and turning and letting the body understand, yes, it's a change of season. Yes, it's time to think about where did I do well and hit the mark? What do I need to go in and change about myself? And how do I need to do it? And just go the other side again. Do a few on your own. Try to feel where your sit bones are. What is your shoulder area doing? The neck. You can drop your chin. Take a breath. As you twist, you can breathe out and go back to the other side again. So Teshuvah really means to turn, to twist, to come back into who you are, your essence. The word for bone in Hebrew is etzem, and it also means your, stay it down, and I'm turning off, there we go, alarms, all right. It also is a way of talking about your essence, who you are. Okay, relax your legs a moment, take them forward, and just kind of paddle out your feet. You can bend at the knees, the hips, roll the shoulders a little bit. Great. And then you can go ahead and fold your legs another way. So maybe it's putting your left leg in front right now. And just taking your head gently over to your right side and dropping your chin and just taking your right hand around and coming up to the Rosh, the head. And just releasing the left shoulder back, feeling how good it is to drop your chin forward. Allow your right hand to peel down to the floor and slowly take a half circle for your neck to release those vertebrae that connect you from your mind to your body. And take your left arm up and gently stretching the neck. Take a breath, release your elbow. You can take your focus down. Think about what are your gluteals doing. So if you need to pull a little bit more flesh out, they tend to get under us because we're not used to being aware of what is the body doing. That's the yoga. That's also the Teshuvah understanding of coming into the mind, being aware of your actions. And let that go. And just little half circles going side to side. Whoa, breath. Eyes are open or closed, whatever feels good for you. And gentle. And let's just take this now into our arms. So first of all, interlace your fingers. You're bringing your 5 fingers of your left side to your right side. The month of Elul that we're leaving is all about getting in touch with your left side, your strength, to bring it to your heart, your chesed, your right side. And that gives you balance in the middle, which is compassion. So right here, bring your shoulders back onto you and start to lift your hands up. So this is a very cool thing about doing a movement. If you stretch your spine and your limbs, everything makes everything else feel better. So we kind of know that, but it is by giving spaciousness to yourself. So just stay here, see if you can bring your arms back a little further to the ears, bring the pinkies back, maybe straighten through the elbows. You might have to adjust the speaker. Here we go. And then go wide. Breath. Reach your fingers away. So there's so much spiritual connection to our physical body. We have 10 fingers, and those are to connect us to the Kabbalah tree of life, the 10 qualities, the 10 sefirot that we are trying to build for ourselves. Let's take a tilt over to the right. And here again, be aware of what is your sacrum doing. Are you twisting? Can you keep your sacrum back? You can maybe walk your right arm a little further. You can stretch your left arm. You can turn your head. Each thing readjusts a different part of your body. Bring your arm down and feel how that opens the shoulder and come right back to your side. And then walk your hand out away. Bring up your right arm. And you can take the left arm away. Again, think about here. Can you keep both your sit bones down? Can you engage your abdominal core here to come back to support the lower body? So it's not just exercise and stretch. It's really a mindful moment. You can kind of stretch your fingers on a diagonal and realize what that does all the way down. Then you can bend the body and come around. Great. So I'm going to just turn my speaker down and get my visual aid. My visual aid today is my shofar. And my shofar is kind of a representative of all of our ways that we feel, how we cry, how we breathe, and how we bend, or how we are emotionally. So we all know the first sound of the shofar is tekiah, that long, beautiful sound. And that would be like stretch, or you are one person, everything contained in your world, your body is all one. So I'm going to invite you all to lay down. And when we lay down, I'm going to move this chair out of the way. On our mats, you sit first and you roll with compassion through your lower spine. So you can start by lifting the sternum and then pulling in the abdominal area and slowly bringing your body to the earth and relaxing. And this is actually movement. This position is a corrective rest. Such a great thing to do. To bend the knees, be aware of your feet on the ground, take breath, release your sacral plate, your lower back to the ground. See if you can also drop your shoulder blades. And again, take breath, blow into your body as a chauffeur. Breathe in your nose and breathing out your mouth. Just notice how good that feels, that you can just get down on the ground and do that every once in a while. Okay, so go ahead and stretch out your legs and stretch out your arms over your head so you're one long, beautiful line. Great. And then gently just start to bend the right knee and take your arms and hug in your right knee. And you want to bend it gently. So if the bending of the knee is only this far for someone today, that's your bend. Remember, I do this a lot, so I'm bringing my femur bone as close to my belly or my breast, and I'm going to playfully move it around to feel that my leg bends and is in the ball and socket at my hip. The knee bends, and I try to relax the foot. So that's 3-part bending. The second sound that the shofar makes is shivarim. And that would be like, it's almost like a cry that you're holding in. Some people think it's like the cry Abraham's wife Sarah made when she found out that her husband took their son and was going to tie him up and sacrifice him like a lamb, and she cried. You know, like that, that breaking your heart. But it also reminds us that we need to be able to take these nice straight legs when you lift them up and bend them in order for them to function. That our body is made up of lots of little parts. So play around, still on the right foot, circle the ankle. Notice if you have your sternum in front of you, in the middle of your body, the sacrum down. Great, and then go ahead and bend this leg in. Take it to the side a little bit so you open your adductor, your inner groin. Back to center, lift it up, flex the foot and bring it down alongside the left leg. Before you do the other side, just take a moment and interlace your fingers, stretch up overhead, flex your feet, open up your heart, breathe. You can arch your body, then you can put your body back down on the earth and reach over and get your left leg. So it's so nice to know that we're a whole being, a whole little, we call it a katan olam, a small world. And we bend, and thank God, because these bendable parts keep us mobile, keep us going. But we can also circle them to get more circulation, keep them healthy. We all do get some form of arthritis, which is a wearing away of certain areas where cartilage and bone are always used. By taking time and doing this, you find different ways, circle the ankle, to move body, legs, mindfully, so it feels good. And go ahead and reach this one down. Interlace your thumbs like a hook. So take your right thumb over your left, and that helps you pull apart in a different way. And then flex your feet so you're reaching away with both heels and pull apart your body, lengthening. So you've gone from that brokenness of the shivarim to a long tekiah breath. And then interlace your thumbs the other way. So just switch the way you hook your thumbs. Great. And then gently just kind of fold in so you can lift your body, bring your feet close, lift your pelvis, and take a moment and bring your hands under you and take the buttocks or the gluteals and push them down towards the feet so you can feel the spinal column begin to lengthen. Take your hands behind your head and gently bring both elbows up and see if you can notice if your body is centered. The center of the sternum is going towards the pubis and the feet are on either side. Great. Okay, so if you have a strap, I'm just going to roll over a minute and grab my strap. And I'm turning down this volume. Go. And with the strap, if you don't have one, don't worry about it. You can just use a rope from a belt. Anything that is, creative that you've got in your house. We're going to work on finding a way to get into the next sound of the shofar, which is teruah. Okay, excellent. So go ahead and start to bring your right knee back up. You can keep your left leg bent a little bit. Before we get into that, I'm just going to invite you, and I might have to turn to face away from you. There we go. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing, and put my right ankle over my left leg. This is a little different than what you might do in a gym class. I'm just going to say, keep both sides of your sacrum down on the ground and start to gently bring the right knee towards you. So it's brought in a diagonal a little bit. Then lift through and then bring your left leg up. So that truly takes care of the sacral iliac spine. Drop your chin, and you just are stretching the gluteals. And if you want, you can straighten the left leg, shake it around. To come out of this, you want to shake that leg. And shaking or shattering is what teruah. Teruah! And it feels good. It's fun to just shake. And that's reminding us that life can be very shattering and shaky. And then let's go right to the other side. So you bring the left knee close to you and take breath. Drop your chin so you lengthen the back of those cervical vertebrae too. Make sure your lower sacral plate is centered, not rolling from one side to the other. We're trying to prevent injuries or take care of an injured area. Take your left knee and just bring it gently towards your sternum. Elbows are up. The reason you want to lift your elbows is so that you use all of your upper torso, not narrowing your collarbones. Great. Then you can reach under and you can bring the right thigh closer and you really are opening up the hip. Breathe, receive it. Take a moment. And take that leg and shake that one out and do a little shivaring, which is the breaking into the teruah, which is like a 9 or 10 blow on the shofar to let us know that life can be shaky, life can be broken. And then we come back and we do our tekiah. Just stretch out again. Receive. See if you can lengthen your sit bones towards your feet, that your rib cage, the whole basket of ribs can lift up. Great. And then gently release your spine and bring both knees in. If you get any cramps, remember to shake like we do in teruah. Open your jaw. It helps keep your pelvis down. Relax the back of your neck. So much better for hearing, listening, being all together. And then take both knees and circle them around. Today's a very gentle yoga class. It's more of a connection to compassion, to being with yourself like you are your best friend. Taking care. Great. And these little figure eights remind you of that connection to never-ending feeling. If you pray, if you meditate, to be connected to Adonai. Great. You can open your knees like a frog and notice if you can keep your collarbones wide. Take a breath and just breathe. You can kind of break at the ankles. This pose is actually called Happy Baby. And you want to smile a little bit when you do it to release those endorphins that come from opening the rib cage, the heart, and softening the neck. You can stretch out in a straddle, again, bringing the legs straight, which always feels good to bend and straighten, which is like, you know, adding a little shivarim and a tekiah into everything you do. Good. And then gently bring both knees to your right as you look left. And try to bring your knees up a little higher towards your arm or your chest and roll away. When you roll away, keep your sacrum going to the right and the rib cage lifts from the right to the left. Breathe in when you come up. Breathe out and bring your knees to the left. So this is a big teshuvah, a big turning and churning and coming inside yourself. So your head goes the opposite way of your knees. Breathe in and breathing out. Breathe in and out. And if you're up to it, you can do this a little faster to really get it churning. In yoga, we have Sanskrit, and they work towards some of the gods. There's that one Shiva about stirring up the earth, stirring up everything inside of you is what Teshuvah and Shiva are about. We put our cultures together. Great, and then go back and shake it out, shake your arms, and everything should feel pretty good. Great. I'm going to grab my strap and ask you guys to put it under your right heel and extend the left leg long. So let me move this block out. Great. So here I'm just going to say go to 90 degrees if you can. If that's too much, you can take it down lower. And for those of you that do move a lot, you can come up to 90 even for today. And just kind of pulling on the foot and be gentle. But you kind of want to keep your arms up and make sure the pinky side is also pulling towards you, that you have the whole foot working. And this works the hip socket. Great. Then take both straps into the right arm and come down to the right elbow. So you need to be able to open up your scapula, your pectoral muscles, get the elbow down, and bring it to the side without taking the sacrum over. We're trying to use our core. You can take your left arm and keep it on your body or keep it out to the side. So that's a nice stretch. You want to go from inner groin to inner knee to inner heel, outer groin, outer thigh to outer knee to outer ankle to heel. Great. Then take this right leg all the way across. And here you do roll your left foot to the side, the pinky side. Roll onto your left hip and bring your leg across. Now, if keeping it straight is too much, always you can bend both legs or one leg. You just want to start to feel. And you want to make sure it all feels good and know the difference between a stretch and a pain. Then you can take your right upper body and go away to the other side. And gently come back to center. Bend both elbows, bend the knee, bend the ankle, crease at the thigh, and straighten it and do it quickly to the right so you get that feeling of movement, energy, and right over to face across your body, letting the left leg roll, bring it in. Pull it if you're available to you a little closer to get the whole back of the leg woken up. That's what the shofar is about, to wake us up. And then take the leg down. And just pull the strap away and receive again. Feel, that's what Kabbalah means. It means to receive. Let me just get this block out of the way. So you can feel what the stretching does. You drop your chin, you bring your mind back to awareness. What is the body doing? You can always take your elbows and lift to make sure you're centered, that you're not askew. Great. And then gently bring in the left leg. Take the strap, stretch up to 90 degrees at first. That's a lot, just getting the leg to understand where it comes into the hip socket and keeping the sacral plate on the ground. Might not happen today. You might have to move some of the right buttocks down and away, bring some of the right rib cage over to readjust. Great. Then take both straps to your left hand, open out, keeping the right hip facing up. Come all the way across, roll onto your right side. Use your arm to look over the opposite direction. So you're twisting from your mobile vertebrae. Come back up to center. Take a breath and a smile. You're moving like a big tequila. The whole body is moving as one, with mind working, breath working, body working, pulling it across, maybe bending a little bit of shivarim, brokenness, or a little shake of teruah. That's what life is about. It's metaphors. How do we move? How do we stay connected? Come back. Pull it if you can for a little stretch. Bend it, straighten it, take the strap away, and again, receive. See how much longer, deeper you can feel. Great. Bend the knees in. We're going to really engage our core this time. So you're going to lift up and bring your lower back down. Everyone, you're going to take your hips about 3 inches over to the right. So lift your body up and move your hips to the right side. Just so you can see what that looks like. I'll come this way again. I lift up and I bring my hips to the right side. Then I bring my knees in, and then when I come over to stretch out my legs, I'm not twerking the sacral iliac joint. You don't have to take your legs out. You can just have them bent. You come center, and you do it again to the same side because your body's adjusted. Hips are to the right or the left, whatever way it appears in your screen, and in. Then you would come center, and you'd lift your hips and shift them to your other side. So the whole spine shifts the other way. You bring your knees up to the opposite armpit, and you work to bring it here. Now rolling your head away. So you have to push down with the bottom arm here to keep you supported for freedom of feeling. And come center. And just roll over to your side a moment, and very slowly, you're going to take a moment and come up. Easy does it. You don't want to get headaches or dizziness. You just want to come up to seated and take a moment. Sit on your blankets, you can, or your towel, whatever you got. Readjust and come up a moment. This is called the Baddha Konasana, or the butterfly. It's equal parts of equal feet trying to touch each other. You can hold on to your shins, but keep wide. Allow your idea of where is your sacral plate to roll back and pull your belly in. So you're making a contraction. I'll show you sideways. A contraction, a pulling in with the abdominal area. And this we call the cat pose. And then gently, you're going to lift up straight in between. And you're just going to try to keep your abdominals engaged with your sacral area and lift up from your sternum and rib cage to the cow pose or the dog pose or the lifting up. Great. So one more time, just practice that on your own. Pull in, bring your tailbone through. So you're widening the sacral plate. The ribs are widening. The shoulder blades are spreading. Drop your chin. Breathe in, breathe out. Then centering, your tailbone drops. Your sit bones find the ground, and you lift up from your heart, your sternum. We're always lifting up. That's where our Tefilah is. Our prayers are to the heavens, and we bring them down to our body, which is here on earth where we live. So we're striving to connect to spirituality and our actuality of living here and doing that work on earth. So Tefilah is our prayer word. I'm going to come up and show you 2 Hebrew letters. And in Kabbalah, we believe the body are the letters. So we make those shapes. So the first one is Yud. It's the smallest letter, and it's like a seed of light within you, that first spark of light. Every letter you make in Hebrew begins with a simple Yud. If you're going to go to make the Lamed, you need a Yud on top in order to form the Lamed. There are letters that correlate with the zodiac, or the mazal is what we call them in Hebrew, the symbols of each month. This month, Elul, that we're transitioning is the Yud, those little seeds that come in, those sparks, so that when we get to this month of Tishrei, we're in the Lamed. And the Lamed, if you put 2 Lameds together, we make like a heart. If you take 2 Lameds away from each other, you make the sign of the scales. And that is where we weigh it. Who did good, who's going to be written in the book of life, who will live, who will die. It's that scales. Okay, everyone got that? Lameds away, Lameds together, making a heart. Beautiful, beautiful images, all starting with the Yud. Let's take a moment and take your hands in the shape of a Yud and reach up and open them to the heavens, and gently bring your hands together. This is the Tefilah prayer pose, and bring it to your heart right here. So breathe in when you lift. That's a rule of movement. Did that when I was dancing. Breathe in for the jump up. Breathe out as you come down. Up and down. Beautiful, beautiful thoughts to think of. The little Yud seed to the Lamed. And that's something we can do all the time. And you notice your arms come to the Tekiah, they become one, and they break. It's the brokenness and shakiness that get us through life. You can take it out to the sides of the world. A little Yud, come together. Great. Okay, if you have a blanket, we're going to go on all fours and go through a simple yoga flow that incorporates all of it. Put my shofar right here to remind us that if you don't, the breath. I was blowing it so beautifully for my husband last night. The shofar, oh, that sounds bad. Okay. Judy. Hey, we are human. On your knees, if you can, you just want to feel that little feeling of the seed of Yud coming into you, a small movement. You can go ahead and make your body the smallest that you are able to. That would be like a pose of a child. I always like using blocks for some of these things. They help you. We are not doing yoga 24/7, but we do enjoy the way it feels. So if you put a block between your feet, if you have one, and then one for your forehead, your bottom can land on the block and your forehead on the other block. So you get that feeling of a nice long spine with all of your limbs, broken, connected, breath, feeling good. This is a wonderful resting pose of a child, the Yud. And then gently coming up to all fours. So I'm going to move my block away. I'm going to just do the cat and the cow right here. I'm going to push this block away too. Relaxing your feet. You want to gently bring your tailbone through and make a curve where you're coming in right here. And that is just so soothing for the body to drop the chin, to allow the sacral plate, that sacred area of your body, to just feel good. And then to reach away. So you take your hands, you're actually forming from the yud, coming out like sprouting like a tree growing to the lamed, and allowing your sternum to lift and your face to lift and your tailbone, and then go back and forth. And come into the cat. Take breath, release, let the shoulder blades round, walk it forward a little bit, move your hips, and coming forward. So you can add doing this by tucking your toes under. All 10 toes also remind us of the 10 qualities that we're trying to emulate of the tree of life. So you lift up your heart. That's where compassion and balance is. You gently bring your tailbone through. That is creation. And that's what is happening during the time in the Jewish calendar right now. We talk and we remember creation of the world. And we use those as metaphors for creating ourselves new. And tuck your toes and lift up in the cow and gently come back to the cat. Great. And now I'm just going to invite us to do a little bit of a Teshuvah in this, a twist and a turn. So just bring your sit bones back. If you want to sit on a blanket or a block, you have that available. If not, just coming down and stretching away. So you're kind of making a lamed while you're in a yud, you're stretching away. You're going to then take your hands and walk them over to your first side. My side here is my left. And I'm going to swing my hips so that the right heel and the right sit bone are on a diagonal to each other, and reach that right arm across more. And that really opens up the side of the body. Then walking, using your hands, using the strength of your upper body to connect to the lower body, take your hips over to the left and stretch the left arm across. And this should feel really good, opening up parts of the lungs and parts of the body and the kidneys that might not get a stretch. And gently come forward and just make little circles again with the hips and the ribs and the head. Let it all go around one way and then figure eight it by going the other way. So realizing we always have this available to us. And this might be a full yoga practice for someone. But we're going to go into our first downward dog now. So we're going to tuck our toes under. Walk your hands a little closer to you, bend your elbows, push the mat away, lift your knees, and then lift up your bottom. So now we've flipped ourselves, so our bottom is going towards the heavens, and our mind and our head is going towards the earth. And that is what we do with the all of life. We're flipped around, we're shaken, we're sometimes shattered, and we need to find where is the ground, where am I? From here, let's take some strength into it. I'm going to fold up my blanket and just push it to the side by bringing your torso so that your shoulders are over your hands in a plank. So if you can do a plank, great. If not, you can always rest your knees. You can rest your arms. But if possible, you want to lift the backs of your hamstrings up, the belly to support the back, and you just want to breathe here. And you can turn your head. You don't have to be frozen and look around. You can even twist your body. Do little teshuvahs. You can lift up a hand. You can be playful. And then walk your hands and your feet a little closer together so you begin to come home to the downward dog. And it becomes like your house or your bait or your bait. Bait, bait, like Bethel means house of God. And we make a prayer, come forward again. And Sheri Tefilah is the gate of a prayer. So you want to open up all your gates and your prayers. Stay here, engage, lift your kneecaps up, and then go back to a downward dog. So in the downward dog, locate your blocks. You'll see that you can take a moment. It's not a very freak you out pose. It's a pose that's your home. A lot of kids, if you have grandkids or little kids around you, you see they love to be upside down. Good. And now we're just going to play and lift your right leg and somehow scooch it or swing it forward. And find your blocks or a chair. So here's what I mean by if you don't have blocks, I'm going to move this, show you. You could use a chair if you want to support yourself, a counter, you can use a wall. I invite you to be creative. This pose right here is your lunge pose, all right? And you just right here, the best way to get into it is bring your right leg to the side and feel where the outer trochanter, the outer bone is on your right thigh, and gently drop your knee down. Then make sure your knee is over your ankle. And bring your blocks a little closer to your hips. That also gives you much better alignment. Notice if you can drop your right hip down and release your left leg, the left foot, and then take your hands right here. You're going to bring your sacrum forward to stretch out the front of the left thigh. Lift your sternum, your heart. Beautiful. And then gently tuck your back toes under and go into your runner's stretch. This in yoga is called the Hanuman, or the monkey, the funny monkey or the flying monkey. So you can see it's kind of playful and fun. As we straighten and as we stretch and we breathe and we do a tekiya on this right leg, and it might need a little breaking, it's okay, it's all okay. And drop down and do your stretch. If this is feeling very comfortable and wonderful, you press the top of your left foot down and you rise up. You do your lamed. You pray for feeling good, for being written in the good book, for having a sweet new year, for the world to wake up and take care of itself and take care of each other. And then you go back, use your abdominals. Great. And then just bring that leg together and go into your little yod and take a moment to relax. Enjoy the breath, the connection. Come to all fours. Take a moment right here to receive and see, how's my right side compared to my left side? I sure would like to involve the left side too. So we do a little cleanser, which is you tuck your toes under. You bend your elbows and you lift up to your downward facing dog. You try to straighten out from your arms to your hips. You soften your knees if you need to, and you look forward a little bit, then drop your head. And now, playfully lift your left foot, and you can either lift it high and swing it forward, or just take time and scooch it. So here on this side, you can see that this bony part on my upper thigh is called the top of the femur bone, the trochanter. You want it on the left side. Otherwise, you're going to hurt yourself if you cross it over. And let me show you what that means. So you don't want your knee coming in. Here, this would be the left side. So you want your knee and your hip on its side of your body, not across. It takes mind and thought. Yoga and Teshuvah are one and the same. Then gently go ahead and drop your right knee down. Relax the top of your right foot. Use your blocks or your chair, whatever you got, and find both sides of your sacrum so you're not torquing your spine. You don't want to be twisted. You bring them all straight up, and the arch is from the upper body. Beautiful. Prayers, thankfulness, connection. Bring it all down to earth. Go back to your runner stretch. So these are really something to do every day to keep healthy. Soften your collarbones a little bit. Think about your friend is with you saying, hey, relax the back of your ribs, drop your chin, let your eyes relax. Then walk it forward and see if you suddenly have a little bit more space that you might be able to stretch and open your jaw and embrace a breath. And one last runner stretch on this side. Woo! Feel that open behind the knee, the connection area. and then bring that one back. Go right to your downward facing dog and feel how different. Maybe you can lift through your gluteals a little higher. And now walk your feet to your hands and get ready for a forward fold. Soften your knees. Check to see that your feet are facing parallel, that one's not turned out, one's not turned in, that you can drop your nose down, your chin down. Bend both knees so they're facing forward, right over towards your toes. Drop your heels. Start to lift your face. Hands are like the yud. They're going to scoop out and reach up. So you've just come to the mightiest warrior pose, which is chair pose, which is a full lamed. And that's a great place to be. And then stand up to mountain and put your hands back here by the sacral, by the gluteals, and take a moment for massage. And again, rub the belly, heart, tapping, all feels good. I know I've got to end soon, but I want to give you like 10 more minutes if you can stay, so you can try some standing poses. Whoever can stay, stay. If not, Shana Tova. Take time to relax. Have a good year. So this is standing in your wide mountain. And you just gently, we're going to go into what is called a triangle pose, where you would turn your left foot in, and you really want to turn so you feel the ankle stretch, and your whole right leg out. Then you spread and see where is your balance. How can you stand here like this? Great. And then you straighten both legs and both arms. So you push right now into your left foot and straighten your knee by pressing your quad backwards. Here it's the opposite. You're rotating the right thigh around, like a twisting, a turning, or even like a scissors. Then you reach your body over the right, and you don't go forward, you go right over the legs sideways. And now take that left hip back a little more. Lift up the left arm, and you push against your own leg so that you can twist. So I'm pushing against this leg to twist my body. This is an entire yoga session by doing a triangle pose. So that should feel good. You kind of bring your left buttocks a little forward and push down towards the right foot. Then you reach up to the heavens, take a break to feel, and switch your legs the other way. So you would turn in your right ankle and foot. You bring your left foot so the heel goes right across the arch of the right. You lift both your arms nice and wide, and you come over the right leg. Straight over it. That's your triangle. And you notice all these triangles have a lot of symbolism. This one's to the ground where the legs meet, and this one's to the heavens. On the day of Rosh Hashanah, reach up. It's considered always the sixth day, number 6 of creation. And that's the day that Adam was created. Switch your legs, we'll go the other way, and we'll do a warrior 2. Adam means a human being. So here, you're keeping your left leg straight and you're bending at the knee. So you really feel the bend. Here, we move this out of the way here in case you need it. It's a great prop to use to help support you. And this would be your warrior 2. Really getting a bend and a stretch and a reach to where you're going. So the 6th day is all about creation of a person. And that's really when the world is created, when we wake up and see what's around us. Take your back arm back, bend, and this would be windswept warrior. The wind, the ruah, helping you to feel connected to the earth. And right from here, it's a new moon. So you bring your back leg in, and it's fun, if you have a chair, to play and do a balance. This is called half moon, or you can make it into crescent moon by bending your body and play all kinds of ways. And now we'll do the other side. So if you have a chair or a block, depends on what you're using. The other side, you turn in your right foot, turn out your entire left leg, and we go to warrior two, where you just bend from the knee to the ankle, bringing the left thigh around, the left buttocks forward, but the right leg is right here, pressing down to the earth with the quad back to the bone. Then you look where you're going. You've done all this Teshuvah. You're getting ready to do Tzedakah, to give justice to the world, Tikkun Olam, to help others. Great. And that would be your warrior two. You come back and you do a windswept, stretching through, moving all of your organs, your body, realigning. And then you go right into a fun little balance. So you take your back leg in, you press down on the chair. Your leg might come here or it can come up, but it's so much fun to take a balance. And have some fun. And come together. So now just standing here, we realize that we are here, we are the Adam, the human beings, to take care of the planet and take care of each other. Notice the trees are changing. Just shift your weight to your right foot and start to bring up by breaking your leg, doing a little shivarim, breaking your arms, and then reaching up like the lamed or like the prayer. You'll see you can balance. And shift right to the other side. And you'll notice one side always has better strength or connection with that foot to the ground than the other. And that's a striving thing we do. We work to create balance, to create Tiferet harmony. Your final Shavasana is your Tekiah Gedulah, where you get to really relax. So you can slowly lay down. You can use a blanket under your head. You can put your legs up, elevated on a chair, which is so good to do. It really helps for circulation, for getting, if you didn't have enough sleep, to put focus and concentration and breath. Let it calm. So we would call the big Shavasana, which begins like with the letter Shuv, which means to turn, or sounds like Shabbat, to rest, the big Tekiah Gedulah. So you can hook your thumbs and stretch like the long lamed shape, which is a little triangle. Stretch and roll your head gently side to side, feeling that connection of the mind releasing to the neck. Bringing your hands to your lower abdominal area and feeling the breath fill your belly, fill up by your ribs. Keep your collarbones wide. You stay there. And just listen and let go and realize you do have that spark of all that light within you. We want to build on all our wonderful behavior. And then come the end of Rosh Hashanah, when you throw away cast off your sins, you get rid of what you don't need. We call it tashlich. You shake it off. You get rid of all the burdens that are not necessary, so you have this wonderful Tekiah Gedulah clean slate for a rebirth of a brand new year. You can take your arms out wide. If you want to, you can take your legs down and just feel the ground under you. You can have your legs bent or straight. There are no rules when you're going to your relaxation. If you have your blocks and you want your legs bent, it's always nice to support your thighs with blocks. and you breathe. And you guys stay there, and I'm going to read you a poem, because this is the time of year where we always reflect on reading psalms or poems. We usually go to David's 27th poem and psalm. This one is not David's, but it's a very nice one. It's called, "It is enough." It is enough right now to taste the moment of peace. Of course I want more, but at least the door is open. It is enough to draw a conscious breath and to let my hands relax, fingers releasing their tight grasp on things that are outside of my control. It is enough to shed a layer of stress, as if taking off a jacket or taking off a pair of too tight shoes. Ease of being has to start somewhere. This breath is my first step. So like that little yud of a breath, breathe in and breathing out nice and full. And I feel that this is really a lovely reminder to us that the ease of being begins with conscious breath. Just one moment of peace opens the door. So don't rush it. Take a moment and breathe. If you're going to sit up, move slowly. You don't want to get dizzy. Be with what you've created with your body. A moment of shalom, a great feeling of tekiah, gedula, and realize that you are enough. So if you can all sit up slowly, we'll just close our practice with saying, B'Tselem Elohim, we are all created in God's image. We all look to each other and see ourselves within each other. And we go out and we unbind, so cross your arms a moment, feel that goodness to tighten, to bind, and then to release. And try the other side. You know, we have that whole story of binding and unbinding Isaac. And that also reminds me of like a tight, twisted shofar. Great eagle pose, release. And I invite you to chant with me, Shalom. 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 You can feel the brokenness of your voice when it comes out, and that's good, the little shattering to get sound out. Remember, in Torah, the world is created with our words and our sounds. So I invite you all to have a really beautiful and kind Lashana Tova. And I'll see you next week. If anyone wants to chat, I hope you enjoyed this gentle class today, and we'll probably move a little more next week. So,
thanks so much, Judy.